Hi, crafty friends. Melissa Miner here. Thanks so much for joining me on YouTube. Today, I am so excited to be sharing my first layout as a member of the Bramble Fox Cut File Design team. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started on today's layout. First off, I want to say I was super impressed at the ease of the use of the cut files. Never have I seen cut files like this before. So this is a look at my Cricut design space, and I downloaded the file right from the Bramble Fox website. And you'll notice here at the top, we've got the outline, and then the bottom are the letters. So I'm just using this little arrow here and bringing them out and bringing them in so I can make it as large or as small as I would like. And what's great is it's all together. So if you size it, you can move it down, move it over, whatever size you'd like. And what's great is the letters that fit on the inside of the die cut or the cut file, they're going to match up and be the same size and fit perfectly. So when you hit the make button, I want to show you that on your Cricut mat, it will print. You'll have two mats. So here's the first mat that shows the outline. And then you've got other mats here where you can do the other options for the letters. So if you want to do each of the letters and the symbols in different colors, it sorts them out on your mat. So I just thought that was really neat feature of the Bramble Fox cut files, because most cut files, you have to do your own manipulating to the file and do contours and create outlines and things. But with Bramble Fox, they make it super easy for their cut files. So these are really unique. And if you haven't tried their cut files, I encourage you to download one from their website to give it a try. So then from here, all I did was hit continue, and I printed out the files so that I can work with them. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up off camera. And here you can see on my desk, I've got in my stack and sort tray here, the inserts for the letters. So I've got the word "the view" from here. And what's great is these are sized perfectly so that not only do they drop in, but they have like that extra little lip on the side, if I can get mine turned around correctly, so that you can glue them to the back of the cut file and then move them all in one piece, which makes it great. Like if you want to use foam adhesive, to pop it up or anything, you can. So let me just show you again, like from the back, that's what it's going to look like. So I really, really like that. And then there's also this inner piece here, and I think I might want to put a photo on the inside of that little mark there. I can't remember what that's called. Geotag, I think it's called maybe. All right, so I printed off my cut file using some white cardstock, and now I want to distress the edges. I want to use some vintage photo ink here and just ink this all up. And the reason is because I want it to really stand out against my background pattern paper. The pattern paper that I'm using today is from 49 Market, and it's from the Nature's Haven collection. And I'm actually making a companion page to another layout that I already have on my YouTube channel. I will leave that page linked down below in the description box if you're interested in checking out that as well. So let me go ahead and show you here. I'm just gluing in the inserts to the letters. So it's super easy. I like to use Nuvo Deluxe glue when I glue in things like this, because Nuvo Deluxe glue dries very clear. And so if any seeps out around the edges, you won't be able to see glue. So I'm going to continue putting a little bit of glue on here, and then I'll glue each of these letters in. So I just have the I left to do after this W, and then I'm not sure yet what I want to do with that little geotag. Like I said, I'm thinking about maybe adding a little photo in there. So I'm not sure if I want to use the insert piece or not. So let's take a look at my cut file. Yeah, I think I want to do this and then maybe put my photo in the center of this little circle. So the photos that I'm scrapbooking today are from a recent trip that we went on this summer, and my family and we went to Clingman's Dome. It's in the Gatlinburg, Tennessee, in the Smoky Mountains, And so the photos I'm scrapbooking are of our hike up this Klingman's Dome. Now, it was a short hike, but it was very, very steep and it was so hot. So it was pretty challenging, I would say. And unfortunately, it was super foggy when we were there. So we didn't get like the great view, but it's known for their great views. So let's bring this cut file in, and you can see here I've got my little photo already in the center of the geotag. And then I went ahead and matted this photo in one of the laser cut elements from 49 and Market Nature's Haven, and also this photo. So this photo here is of my daughter Tatum and I on the left. This is Tatum and my boyfriend Dale on the right, like walking up the trail. And then the photo there in the center is myself and Dale, and that's the Klingman's Dome. And then I have a little photo up in the geotag of the Klingman's Dome. So you can see here that my photos are very like hazy. It was super foggy, but it was so fun. So this is how I think I want my photos arranged. And look at this. This cut file is like the star of my page, along with my photos, of course, but it's going to make my page super easy to complete. So I really like the placement of these items, and this background paper is really, really pretty. I'm not going to need a whole lot of embellishments, so I think I'm ready to glue things down, and I want to bring out some more of these 49 and Market Nature's Haven laser cut elements. You know what I was really surprised with is that you wouldn't naturally think of this collection for outdoor photos, but it has like these little wooden frames, and then there's little like this tree stump and the little animals. So to me, it gave me the vibes of hiking and outdoors, and that's what I really like about it. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing things down. I've got my photo here, my feature photo I'm going to place in the center. I'm adding a little bit of adhesive to this photo, and I want to kind of offset it just a little bit. I want to be mindful of the design that's at the bottom right of the pattern paper, because I want to use that and put an embellishment cluster down there. And then I really like these flowers that are coming up out from behind the photo of my daughter and I. So looking at the laser cut embellishments, I know I want to use this tree stump, but I can't really decide where. I think it's going to land over here between the photos of on the left side. I like it better on the left side. So I'm going to go ahead and add a few foam squares here, and I'm going to go ahead and tack that down. So we'll have that little piece ready. And then in the laser cut elements, there's all these cute little animals. So I want to find a little animal to place on top of the tree, and look at this one. Flipped it over here. Let me show you. Let me put a little foam square on the back. This is a cute little frog. And you know, frog doesn't really have anything to do with our hike, but it's outdoors, and I'm sure there were frogs out there, right? So I'm going to place that down. I'm also going to place this little, it's like a little cluster of flowers and rocks. So here's some rocks over here to the right of this photo. Looking through the laser cut elements, there's a little bird, and I'm sorry I'm off camera just a little bit, but I'm going to place the bird on top of that geotag. That's just going to give it like a little spot to rest. And then more laser cut elements. I'm going to punch out this little banner. Now, I really, really wanted to use this. I did use a banner on my companion page, but as I try it around in several different places on the layout, I just couldn't find the right spot for it. So I'm going to put this aside and maybe save it for a future layout, because it is a really pretty piece, but it just doesn't fit on this layout. Let me bring this back into frame a little bit for you. So yeah, I tried it, and I was thinking about even cutting it here and putting a little bit on the left and a little bit on the right. But in the end, I decided to set this aside, and I will use this at a later time. So moving on with the rest of the embellishing for my page here, I am going to set that aside now, and I'm going to find this cute little arrangement of flowers and also a cute little fox. So let me set these down here. So I've got, I found a little mushroom. So I'm going to add the mushroom to the little tree stump and the frog, just to kind of build that up a little bit. And I love the way that looks. Now I'm going to find a little cluster. I've got the little cluster of flowers there on the bottom, or on my page, on my glass mat. So you can kind of see that off to the right. I'm trying this little frog around, and you know what? I like that. I'm gonna place this little frog over here on the top of my photo, and isn't that the cutest little embellishment? So it makes the frog look like it belongs now because I've got two. There we go. I've got also some die cut elements in here. There's 73 die cut pieces, and I want to look through here and see if I can find something that's going to go on my page. So I've got lots of little elements here. I like this little round piece, and I like this little frame. But I don't think those are the right elements for my page. There's so many in here. I'm sure I'm going to find something. So as I'm flipping through here, I am going to find a little tag, and that gives me an idea. So I'm thinking I want to put some little banner elements behind this frame, maybe just like coming up from behind my photo. So I'm going to pick out a couple banners here and then a little wordy bit, and I'm going to make this little banner cluster here behind my photo. I do find 3 banners, so I've got 2 different shades of the green and then 1 in the red. So I will glue that down, and then the word remember, because that was so fun. Here's the little fox that is so adorable, so I'm going to add that to the page. And then I found these cute little tags, and so I feel like I need something above this left-hand photo. So I'm inking up the tags so that they match the layout here with a little bit of that vintage photo. So I'm going to layer 2 of these tags. Now, one of the tags has a cute little tree stump, and I want to make sure that that shows. So that's the one on the right. So I'm trying to decide how I want these. I really didn't want to cover up my flowers over here, so I'm trying to move them kind of over to the right. But in the end, I think it's okay to cover up the flowers. I really like the way that these cute little tags look. They're just so dainty and small. I think they look really nice back here. Now, no tags should be left naked. So I will go in and add some twine off camera to place in these little tags. But that's the placement for them. So I like that. Here off camera, you can see here I added some twine from my stash. I've got like a little brown color on this left one, and then like a brown and white string for the other one. I'm going to cut that just a little bit more. And then I will glue both of these down. And there, I like that. And that gives that some height over here. So let me cut that just a little bit more. That's super cute. All right, so I'm really liking the way this is looking, but I feel like my cut file is missing something. I really wanted it to jump off the page, and right now I don't feel like it is. So I'm going to go in and add some little dash marks that kind of look like stitching marks. So this is a nice way to elevate your cut files by just adding some little dash lines that look like faux stitching lines. So I've got this little Sharpie marker. It's a fine tip marker, and I'll do some of this here, and then the majority of this I'll do off camera. And you can see how much that elevated the layout here by just adding those lines. I love the way that looks. Now for some finishing touches, I'm bringing in some Shimmers paints, and this is called Whites of Their Eyes, and this is an acrylic paint splatter, and I'm splattering it all around the page. Now this is a real subtle detail. In the end, I don't think you'll be able to really notice this, but I know it's there. And then that's going to wrap up today's layout. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. I will leave all the product links listed down below in the description box, as well as a link to the Bramble Fox cut file here, the view from here. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!